everyone, welcome to another manga review. Today we are reviewing another title from Kodansha, and it's actually a Beauty and the Beast adaptation. Well, not so much adaptation as reimagining. I'm sure that you've seen a lot of different manga and anime kind of reimagining classic fairy tales into their own versions, where they change a few things here and there. It's funny that this is coming out around the same time as that new movie Belle, huh? Coincidence? Maybe, I don't know. But this one is titled Beauty and the Beast of Paradise Lost. And if that sounds like they just took two well-known titles and smashed them together, yeah, probably. So our story starts off with this tale of this beast who kidnaps beautiful women. Basically, this little girl is our main character here, and she was wandering around looking for a rose for her hair. Her hair color is kind of a thing in this book. I'll go over that later. And her mother came with her, and in order to save her daughter, she pushes her into the river, and the beast takes her mother instead. So Belle, our main character, believes that her mother dies because of her. Not because she went wandering around in the woods, but because she was too ugly for the beast to take, so he took the beautiful mother instead. As she grew up believing that she was ugly because of her hair color, it's not like her mother's hair and it's not like her father's hair, which led him to believe that she was actually a bastard child. But he never had the guts to really speak up about it to his wife, so he often hid her hair from everybody so that they wouldn't, adults talk. And I think that that's relatively believable, but I must say, the father character really confuses me in this story. So she's crying to her dad, oh, it's all my fault. If I were just prettier, the beast would have taken me instead. And he's like, yeah, it's all your fault. Because you're so ugly. So in order to hide your ugliness from the world, I'm going to trap you at home with me. And you're never gonna be let outside, you're never gonna have anyone see you, you're never going to marry, you're just gonna be at home with daddy the whole time. Now, at first I thought that this was his twisted way of, keeping his daughter safe. But one day she escapes from her home and goes out to find out what happened to her mother. So she follows the same carriage that she saw that night when her mother was taken away. Her father finds out that she's gone and goes after her. And at first it seems like, he's attached to her. He was really scared about her leaving him, which goes back to what I was saying before, would make sense that he responds that way to losing his wife to cling on to his daughter, regardless of whether or not she's actually his. And then all of a sudden the dad turns evil, I guess. He has an axe with him, and he's just you're supposed to rot away in that house, I was keeping you in that house because I wanted you to suffer and die. And yeah, then he tries to kill her with the axe. And it's just kind of confusing, because if he wanted to kill his daughter, there's so many other ways he could have done it. Keeping her locked up in his house and obsessively protecting her from the outside world, it seems like the odd way to kill her. And I think what they were actually going for was making it so that he was possessed by a demon in this moment, but it's so unclear, because she's yeah, this is who father really is, I just didn't want to believe it. But if he's supposed to be possessed, then she should be no, he might have been making me suffer all this time, but surely he didn't know that, And then the quote-unquote beast comes, kills her father. She comes face to face with him. He notices her rose crest, which is also something that her mother had, and they just really go over that super quickly in the beginning of the manga. So quickly that I forgot to even mention it when I was starting this review, because it's such a aside, hey look, we have matching rose crests. Isn't that cool? Okay, daughter, let's go pick out a rose. Oh shit, I'm dead now. But anyway, so he's oh shit, she has the same rose crest. I better keep her as an offering in my carriage. And then she's saved by the real pretty boy beast. You can tell that he's supposed to He's supposed to be the love interest because he has long, flowing, glorious hair. So she wakes up in the castle and, you know, this cute bird, it tries to kill her, and, you know, it's kind of like the Beauty and the Beast tale all over again, where, like, looks are deceiving. I don't know if you guys got that lesson. The Beast is a good guy and the cute bird is the bad guy. Anyway, so he saves her, and, she realizes that he's not so bad. And then this is the part that super confuses me, is the fact that her dad actually does get possessed by a demon. And this time it's a little bit more obvious that he's being possessed by a demon. I'm still not sure if he was supposed to be possessed the first time. Anyway, as you can imagine, she's introduced to, like, the other people in the castle. They're all cursed as well to look like monsters. But I must say, this guy got it pretty easy. That's it. All he has is horns. That's his big curse. Oh, big fucking whoop. You poor guy. Oh man. Poor ram horns, you'll never be able to go out. In the Disney version, he was a fucking candle. So we get more scenes where it's like, yeah, this guy, he's a total brute, but he is, like, nice on the inside. In this one scenario, which I actually did find interesting to read, he's eating all the food and he refuses to let her eat any of the food. And at first she's like, what an asshole, I'm hungry, I need food. But then it turns out that the food is actually poisoned, and apparently it happens very often that his food will get poisoned by the servants in the castle because they hold resentment towards him for causing the castle to be cursed. Which actually, yeah, that makes sense, right? If we kill the cursed guy who caused this curse, maybe our curse will break. But also, like, who cares if you have ram horns, if that's your big curse? And she's able to help him get the poison out of his system by making him throw up, which is kind of funny. It makes them a little closer. So it's not a bad scene. I think they did it pretty well. And then she, like, gets to talking to the Beast about her childhood, and she reveals this scene where her dad always wanted to cover up her hair by making her wear this bonnet, and one day the bonnet got, like, stuck and she tried to get it and almost died, and he saved her, which once again kind of makes it seem like he was a good guy and he actually loved his daughter, because then it brings us to this scene where there's a fake father, right? And this is the demon possessed father, I guess. And he's saying all these nice things to her to try to, like, get her. And she realizes that it's not really him because he doesn't have the scar on his arm that he got when he saved her when she was a little girl, which is supposed to be, like, proof of his love, is that scar on his arm. And she realizes that even though he's saying all these nice things, that's not really who her father was. So this demon-possessed fake father tries to kill her, and then at the last moment starts choking himself. And this is supposed to be, like, the actual father fighting with the demon who had possessed him to keep her daughter alive, even though with the previous scene he was trying to kill his daughter. I don't know if he was supposed to be demon possessed in that scene because it didn't clearly come through. Does he love his daughter or not? Anyway, he says he's sorry and then dies for real. Now where this story ends, of course, if you know anything about the original fairy tale of Beauty and the Beast, you know that the rose significance is that when all the petals wilt from the rose, the curse will be permanent. So we get some kind of ending here where it hints how they're going to be changing that in this new reimagining, where there's this gazebo of roses and it looks like a body which is covered by these roses, and he calls this body Belle, which is the name of our main character. So what's going on here? So what are my final thoughts on this reimagining of Beauty and the Beast? Well, let me tell you, I actually don't really mind reimagining of fairy tales and other types of stories. I don't mind if people take those stories and try to mash them up into something different by using those same themes. I just want it to be good. I just want it to be interesting. I just want it to be a decent reimagining and not taking the story and making it worse. To some extent, I feel like this story might try to do some things that make it overly complicated. I don't know exactly what this rose birthmark is, what's that significance in this story. I don't really get that. It seems like they really rushed through explaining it. As far as her being a bastard child, there's a lot of, you know, mystery behind that, because basically her mother like disappeared into the woods for a few days, came back and was pregnant, so he just assumed she got pregnant with some guy while she was gone. You have to wonder, like, was she fucking a demon in the woods? And, you know, there's questions about the little bird character and the bird's boss and what significance that plays with the curse. I don't mind them adding more, like, complications to it. I don't mind them adding more villains or anything like that. But I do kind of wonder if this manga just made it a little bit too complicated in some sections. Like I said, her father's motivations, I'm still not 100% sure I understand the father character. Is he supposed to be, like, somewhere in the middle of good and evil? Is he ambivalent to good and evil? Protected his daughter, but then he tried to kill her. It's kind of an off and on thing. So probably not a recommend from me. And like I said, I think that there are some scenes that they actually did fairly well. There's some anime scenes that are kind of tropish, and they introduced some interesting concepts. It's just kind of messy. But those are just some of my thoughts. If you've read this manga, let me know what you think down below in the comments section. Considering that the spooky season is coming up, I was thinking about looking into more spooky manga, maybe talking a little bit about some Halloween themed movies that I like watching. And if you have any suggestions of some spooky Halloween stuff that I should cover this Halloween season, definitely let me know. Of course, remember to like the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Till then,